Yo, J Talk, Josh and John here.
What's going on? What's going on, people? J Talk. What episode are we in, man? These weeks are going by fast.
This is episode 10. 10 weeks. I was just looking at that. 10 weeks of just good information, man.
You know, we got John over there looking like the Oracle with all those books behind him.
Hey, you got to read. Got to stimulate the mind.
Yes, sir. 100%. 100%. What's the last book you've been reading? What have you been into?
This one right here.
Ooh.
The Art of Learning. Actually, it was suggested by a client of ours. You know Dan the man.
Dan the man.
It's about a guy who mastered chess at like the age of 8. And he was like a national chess champion. And how after, crushing chess, he went to martial arts and he just won a bunch of world championship. Like it was just this crush. He just was awesome, just this guy who was young and he was a prodigy. And I can't wait to read it. Actually, I haven't started digging into it, but I love reading all different shit, all different types of stuff. Self-help, business, motivation, all that stuff is good. So what are we talking about today, Josh?
We're gonna talk about just how the last few months have been going for, with our nutrition, with our training. I mean, you and I are doing completely opposite things, opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to nutrition and training. So we're just gonna dive into that.
I just muted you on accident. Sorry. I accidentally muted you. You got to unmute yourself. Because I meant to mute Leanna. I pressed mute.
What up, Leanna? What up? Can you hear me right now? We're good? You can hear me?
Yeah, we're good. I can hear you. We all can hear you.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to talk about how we're on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to nutrition and training, and just how the progress has been going, things we're doing to stay on track, help us stay disciplined, things that, we may be struggling with, and just give you guys a little bit of an update on that.
It's your alarm to get started.
We're all over the place right now. We're all over the place.
You know what? This is raw and uncensored podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so what you been up to with your nutrition? What's going on? You're still on the cut?
Yeah, I'm on the cut still. I've been, I've got one of these little Fitbit watches, and I've just been watching my calories in, calories out. It's just kind of, what all my mentors would say. It's doing the boring work. What I've been preaching in the gym sessions, doing the boring work, counting your reps, counting your weight, counting your days in the gym. Like if you count those things, then you're going to be successful at the end of the year. If you spent 200 days in the gym, and that's successful. And just tracking the boring stuff. Like, how many calories am I eating? Boring, but it gives me good information. How many calories am I burning? Boring, but at least I know. How many hours am I sleeping? All those things are really important when you're trying to gain weight like you are. Like for you, I mean, think about you. I mean, you got to eat a ton more. Like you got to make sure you're eating and eating, and you don't want to be burning more calories than you're eating. So it's fun. They're both different aspects of kind of the same world. We're in fitness, but we're in different parts of the world right now. Like you've put on what? How much weight have you put on? 15, 20 pounds almost?
Yeah, 15, 20 pounds. I mean, give or take. Some days I'm about 190 right now. Some days I'm a little bit less, a little bit more. It fluctuates 2-3 pounds either way. But yeah, I started at about 165, 167, and I was just like,
when did you
never
start?
Really say that again.
When did you start? I forget. What was your start date? Like March?
Yeah, like somewhere around then. I have it in my phone because in the beginning, I like when I started, I just wanted to see how much I was eating. Like I took the first couple weeks and just started lightly tracking in my phone, like to see how many calories I was eating. And then I officially started once I was like, okay, cool, I'm around this ballpark. Now I have a goal to hit as far as calories. And then I just started from there. But
right. Nice.
It's been tough. And at first it was like, I had so much time to eat because we were in lockdown. So it was like I'm at the house all day. It was easy for me, it was just easy for me to get my meals in, right? Because I could cook all my own food. I
Right.
didn't really have to worry about meal prep. I could eat whatever I wanted, you know. But it's been getting increasingly more difficult now that my days are busier, right? Like
Right.
I'm coaching the classes. I actually have
Dude.
to stick to a schedule. I'm driving back and forth from different places,
Mhm.
so it's been more challenging. I'm actually at a standstill. Like I haven't gained weight in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, which is normal. But I count that just because I'm on my feet way more too. So I'm burning more calories throughout the day. So I just got to make a couple adjustments. But I'm about at 190. My goal is to get to 200.
200. It was just your birthday, so you got a lot of treats.
Shout out to everybody who brought me treats. I've got like 4 apple pies, 3 cakes, like 6,000 sleeves of cookies, brownies, and you all went all out, and I appreciate you. It was a good birthday. Right,
Hey Josh, of
20
all the goodies that you got, what percentage would you say that you've made it through from that buffet of snacks that you got on
Hey,
your birthday?
Edwin, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm a little embarrassed by it. So I got to keep that information behind closed doors.
I did want to add to the comments about like keep tracking the information. One of the things that I've done to start building better habits is I have a habit app on my phone where at the end of the day, it asks me, "Did you work out today?" And then all I had to do is say check. And at the end of the year, it gives me a percentage of how many times I worked out throughout the year. And you can even put things like, did you read today? And it's just like little check boxes. And
Mm,
it gives you kind of a end of the year percentage of how much of that you completed. It's a good reminder, like if I didn't work out,
Nice.
I was just like, well, I didn't work out, so no checkbox. But it's
Nice.
I have it set at 8 o'clock every day in the evening at night, and it's a self reminder. I'm like, hey, yeah, awesome, I did a hike, I did something.
mm.
Um, but it helps me just at the end of the year, I'll run the app and I'll see like, oh, how much of that percentage, how much time that I did working, how many times did I work out throughout the year?
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. I
Cool.
like that. You know what gets measured, it gets managed. So
Right.
if you want to take anything to the next level, then you got to start tracking it somehow. Like how I started tracking my meals. If you want to get stronger in the gym, got to track your reps. You got to track your sets. If you want to get faster, got to track your times. John said he's even going to the extent of tracking his sleep. So that's a powerful way just to keep yourself accountable. And it's really badass to look back and see what you were doing a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, last week, and you can kind of compare from week to week and see how far you've came. So I like to do that too.
Right. It's funny. It's like you mentioned how your schedule has changed because now you're on your
Mhm.
feet, 10 hours a day,
Right.
and you're moving
Right.
around, you're driving around, you're a lot busier. You're coaching gym sessions, you're coaching one-on-ones, you're driving, you gotta
Right.
make sure that your schedule's on point. You
Mm,
know, for me, it was similar from I was coaching 0 sessions, just working on the Level Up program, to
mm,
now I'm coaching 5 sessions in the gym, making sure that I'm on point with my meals because now I'm hungrier. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
mm,
A lot of people come to this problem, like they start hitting the gym, they start getting a little more active, they want to lose weight, and then they're all of a sudden they've got all this activity that they're adding, and then they start to get really hungry. So that's when tracking and knowing your numbers really becomes important.
right.
Because in the 3 weeks that I've been back in the gym strength training, wow, my hunger has shot through the roof.
Mm,
Let me give you a little example of what I was doing in quarantine. I was running 10 to 15 miles a day, but my hunger was not nearly close to what my hunger is working out in the gym for 45 minutes a day because you're breaking down muscle, you have to rebuild that muscle, you're sore, so really tracking your calories and making sure that you're on point, you're not overeating is really important because you see that time and time again. People start joining a gym. I'm like, okay, track your food. Like you got to make sure that you're tracking food if you want to lose weight. You want to lose weight, track your food. And all of a sudden they track their food for a week and they're all excited about it. 2 weeks maybe they lose like maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds, maybe so much
right.
water. And then all of a sudden they stop tracking their numbers. They stop weighing themselves. They stop tracking. they stop looking at their Fitbit, and well, maybe they keep looking at their Fitbit, but they don't track the food, and then all of a sudden, miraculously, they start gaining weight again. It's like, oh, shocking. It's like that's been the number one thing for me is these last 3 weeks is really staying on point with tracking my food, because my appetite has definitely increased. So filling my diet with more vegetables and stuff that's going to fill me up instead of just eating bare minimum. Because when I was running 10, 15 miles, my appetite was like 0 for some reason. Like my appetite was low. It was really weird. Like Adriana was even asking me, like, why aren't you eating as much? I'm just not hungry. Like I'm running a lot. My muscles were probably atrophying. Like I wasn't breaking down muscle. Like I was like using muscle as fuel probably. So my body's like, whatever, I got all this muscle, I can just use that.
Exactly.
And you know, coming back in the gym and rebuilding that muscle has been nice, but whoo, my hunger is through the roof.
Yeah. To add a little bit more back onto when you said, you know, maybe you're tracking for a couple of weeks and you're seeing good progress, and you almost tell yourself like, okay, well, I can start eyeballing stuff.
Right.
Like, okay, I don't really need to track because I'm eating the same stuff pretty much every day. Let me start eyeballing it. But just a slight change in lifestyle, you could be burning more calories or you can be burning less calories out. You know, John said he's going back to the gym, and because he's, you know, hitting the weights hard, and it's a different kind of stimulus on your body versus running. His appetite is shot through the roof. For example, with me, I'm at a standstill eating the same amount of calories as I've been doing, meaning like I'm not gaining it. I haven't been gaining any weight the last couple weeks. And I mean, I haven't been tracking as diligently as I was before the last couple weeks either. So for me, in order to get more calories, I actually get questions on, you know, I got clients who are like, Josh, it's hard for me to eat more. Like you know, because sometimes if you're under eating, especially if you're trying to lose weight, if you're under eating, it's hard for you to lose weight. If you're overeating, it's hard to lose weight. But also if you're under eating, there's two sides of the spectrum. I get questions on how I'm getting so many calories in to, you know, because I went from, like I said, 165 to I'm like 185, 190, right? And how I'm doing that. One of the easiest ways for me to get more calories in is I do a shake, right? And in this shake, I put in like, you know, the basic stuff. I put in berries, bananas. You can put protein powder in yours. I don't really put protein powder, but one of the biggest things for me to get easy calories is just nuts, right? Like peanut butter, right? And increasing your fats and your carbohydrates. Protein, you know, I don't really worry about increasing my protein to get more calories in. You know, fats is where I'm going to go to because it's going to be the easiest for me to consume. And so what I'm going to do from here on out to just make sure I continue to gain weight, I'm just going to add more fats into whatever meal I'm eating. Right. And just that right there is going to give me an extra 200 to 400 calories a day. Right. It's just like something small that I'm going to, a strategy I'm going to implement just so I can start gaining weight again. But I'm also going to start tracking again. Because like I said, I stopped tracking the last couple of weeks, and, you know, you want to make sure you continue tracking, and I can go back to the weeks I did track and be like, okay, cool. Let me just add a little bit to that. Right. Just a little bit and see where that takes me.
Exactly. And, you know, they're just two opposite goals,
Right.
but you maintain the same strategies. It's like you're still tracking. It's not rocket science. People like to come in, they ask all these complex questions like, what diet are you on? You know, what macro ratios are you doing? Dude, let me tell you something. I've been eating like 60% carbs. 60.
Yeah.
Like 10 to 15% protein and like 20% fat. And with the variance on that, maybe it's 50% carbs and like 20 and 30, but the macros don't matter. It matters that you're getting in real food, like you're not eating junk processed food. You're not going and getting like, oh, healthy vegan protein patties.
Right.
No, like I see you at the gym, you're eating beans and rice and legumes and garbanzo beans. And it's like, it's nothing spectacular, but it's real whole nutrition. It makes you fuller. It gives you better results. You're getting nutrition. People are always like, oh, you know, well, I hear that the keto diet's the best. Cool. Whatever. Stick to it. Well, I hear that eating vegan is the best. Cool. Like somebody was trying to convert me to being vegan. I'm like, shove it up your own ass. Like I eat how I want to eat. I'm not trying to change the formula that works for me. And what works for you is going to be different than works for Sarah on Instagram who's been promoting her stupid booty blast workout.
Right.
It's like just follow metrics. Like Josh, you're tracking numbers. You're knowing how much you're eating. You realize that your schedule has just changed, so you need to make adjustments. Like I realized my schedule changed. Now I'm on my feet more, so I have to eat more. Like to still lose weight. Like I'm not eating the same amount. I was eating like 1,700 calories in quarantine, running 10 plus miles a day, and I wasn't hungry. Now I'm eating 2,500 to 3,000 calories, and I'm hungry. I'm feeling it, but I'm burning. My burn is a little bit higher now. Like I'm burning 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day, where before I wasn't burning as much. So following the simple stuff. If you guys have a goal to lose weight or gain weight or maintain weight, follow the simple strategy. Whip out your food log on your app and just start logging it. And you always get the objection, oh, well, it's just so time consuming. No, it isn't. It takes 10 minutes total of your whole day. Like what's worse? What's worse, logging your food for 10 minutes or being disgustingly unhappy, maybe even depressed about your whole body for 8 years? Like which one's worse?
And going back on the nutrition subject, you know, it's so important that you invest in yourself and find what works for you, that's investing in yourself, finding what works for you, spending that time trying different things, you know, maybe failing at something that doesn't work for you. Like, for example, if you don't okay, so I know a couple people who they like to make macro friendly, healthy, like nutritious meals that are all fun and have a bunch of different ingredients and all that kind of stuff. That kind of dieting would not work for me. You want to know why? Because I don't like to really cook. I don't like to cook. I like my stuff simple. I like to throw that shit in the microwave and then I eat it like a dog. Like I eat the same foods every single day, right? So yeah, that's creative and it's fun and your meals aren't going to get boring and it's going to be different from week to week and all that kind of stuff. But even with something like that, when you get down to the nitty gritty, it comes down to your discipline. And can you stick to that? Can you do that weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks in a row, right? Even eating completely opposite of that. Maybe if you're super boring, right? There's gonna be a point where you don't want to eat the food, right? There's gonna be a point where your goals say, all right, you got to eat less food today, and you're gonna be hungry, right? And you're gonna have to do something for that hunger, you know what I mean? Or there's gonna be days, for example, for me, where I tell people I'm bulking and they go, oh, that must be so nice. You can eat whatever you want. There's days where I'm literally looking at my food in disgust and John sees me and I'm like force feeding. I'm like, I got my arms up like this on the table and I'm like crying pretty much. I'm like whimpering and I'm force feeding the food because sometimes it sucks getting those calories, but I have to get in the calories to continue to gain weight. So it doesn't matter what you decide to try. There's going to come a point where that discipline has to get in. It doesn't matter how many motivational rants I go on. It doesn't matter how many motivational memes you repost on Instagram. It doesn't matter how many people are hyping you up. There's always going to be a point where you're uncomfortable with what you're doing and you just got to push through, right? So you got to take the time and find out what works for you. So those things happen less, right? If you can stick to something that you like, right? There's going to be, less days are going to come where you're going to be like, man, I really don't like the way I'm eating, right? But they're going to come either way because that's just a part of it because, you know, the health and fitness game wasn't designed to be just the easiest and the most fun. You know what I'm saying? It was meant to challenge yourself, right? It's supposed to be challenging, which is why, you know, 75% of the world is out of shape.
Right. And, you know, it's challenging it because that's what you need to be rewarded by it.
Right.
Like you need to overcome challenging obstacles to have some sort of self-confidence and self-worth from it. And people are always like, oh, well, it's just too hard. I'm like, no, you're just too weak, actually. Like you're just a weak person. Like you have no mental constitution. You probably have no self-confidence and you're just you're just a softy pants. That's what you are. Like, I don't know how to say it anyway. Like in this environment we live in now, everybody's so PC culture, and I'm not going to get political or anything, but everybody's so weak now. Everybody gets offended by a word. Oh, well, you're not vegan, so I'm offended by you, and I'm not going to be your friend because you eat animals. Well, you murder plants. Shut up. Like, I don't care. Like, I love plants. I got plants upstairs.
John, right now you're triggering a bunch of people, my friend. You better be careful. That vegan community is strong.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm reading a book. You say again?
I think I just stepped on the plants over here. Sorry, guys.
Good, good. No, I'm reading a book right now. It's about how plants talk to each other, and it's like, man, if plants talk to each other, maybe they have feelings too. They can warn people. They can warn their community of plants, because with these plants and their root system, they interconnect, right? So they warn these other plants when their trees are being cut, when their leaves are being cut, when they're being eaten. So these chemical receptors go to these other plants to maybe release certain things that they don't be eaten. It's pretty interesting.
Guys,
So,
I really want to harp on something right now. So I 100% disagree with what John's saying right now. But you see how like me and John aren't attacking each other just because we have a difference on something, right? This is a completely different subject. You know, a lot of you have differences. Everyone has differences, right? John, what's your favorite color?
blue, mother.
Dude, my favorite color is purple.
I
right?
know.
I'm not gonna condemn John for liking blue.
No,
You know what I'm
please
saying?
do it. Do it. I'll be stronger for it. Condemn me.
You know, you can have a different opinion on something, but you should understand the other side's perspective, right?
Right.
On why they think that way. And maybe it might change your views on what you think by getting more information about someone else that's on the other side, or it makes your view stronger because now you know the other side and how they think, and now your views are more cemented in, right?
Right.
But this is
Yeah,
a completely different subject.
Don't be scared of a little bit of different conversation. Oh, well, he doesn't agree with me. Oh my gosh. Oh, stop it. Anyway, going back to nutrition and going back to the whole macro thing you were talking about and creating like macro friendly meals every day. It's exhausting to create different meals every day. Talk about time consuming. You got to go buy different stuff. You got to go buy like low calorie sugar. Like, oh, I don't want to eat sugar, so I have to get like this other sugar free stuff that still tastes really sweet. Like, just why go through all that hassle? Like, it's such a hassle. Figure out a couple meals that you enjoy and just pepper them in your eating plan instead of going to McDonald's every day.
Right.
I was figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, like think about it. You could probably think about 10 different meals that you like. Like I have like a top 10 that I could just go to, right?
100%.
You could cycle 3, 4, 5, 6 of those in a week. And then when you start getting bored with one, just like throw in one of the old ones you used to do. Like that happens to me all the time. I'll be eating like the same meal and then I'll be like, oh, wow, I totally forgot about this meal that I used to eat. And I'll throw it in there and it kind of spices things up for me, even though I used to eat that one meal a bunch of times in a row, right? So like you just got to try out different recipes that are, I mean, for me, it has to be simple to make. Like I don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen. Right. And it has to be something that, I don't like I don't think anyone likes their food dry, but especially on a plant-based diet, there's a lot of foods that aren't really like, it's almost kind of dry, like straight up. Like I'm eating a lot of carbohydrates. Like I'm eating a lot of rice. I'm eating a lot of potatoes, depending on what rice you get. Like if you have brown rice, that shit is dry. Like white rice, kind of dry. I just switched it up. Now I'm doing basmati rice, which is like a completely different consistency. And it kind of spiced things up for me, even though I'm still eating rice. Like I switched it up and now I'm like, okay, cool. It kind of gives me reinvigorated and I can stick to it. Right. So like I said, just find 10 meals that you like, pick half of those, use those. And then when you get bored, switch up the meals and do something else. Right. And it's like, you have a completely different meal plan.
Hey, John and Josh, can I add something to it too?
Of course.
I think one of the biggest things that and lately what I've been seeing on Instagram is a lot of those posts where they have before and after, and then they're promoting keto, right? And it's like, the way I see it is like, okay, so it's a short-term positive effect with a negative future effect. And by that, I mean, these people who kind of go on these fads and they see the quick turnaround, but it's not a lifelong type of nutrition where you're not gonna, like the way I saw it when I did my weight loss was that I did it for a lifetime. Like this is going to have to be a long time thing going forward in my life. And I see a lot of people who do like the macros and they go right into it and they see the weight loss, they see the six pack comes in, and then it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I think just thinking about it from a long lifetime goal of nutrition is like, do the things that you know you can maintain for the rest of your life versus
Right.
like if you're looking for a short-term thing and you just want to get that six-pack and I'm like, cool, right? But know
Mm.
that after that, you know, you got to maintain something. So make it realistic versus a short-term positive.
Right. And Edwin's somebody who lost 100 pounds. So to not take advice from somebody who lost 100 pounds would be moronic. It's like do the stuff that you can do for a life. Too many people have these short-term commitment time frames. Oh, I have a wedding to be in, so I want to be good for my wedding. And then after that, I'm gonna get fat for my husband so we can support the divorce after that. It's like I see that all the time in people. Like they get in shape, they're like, oh, I got a trip to be on, or I got this and this to be on, and then they let go of themselves again.
Right.
And then 2 years later, they come back to Fitness Forward and they're like, hey man, I want to lose weight again. I'm like, well, what the hell happened last time? Oh, well, I got so busy. I got this and it's too hot. It's too cold to work out. I got my kids at home now. It's like they have all these excuses. Again, weakness, wimpy pants. That's your name, little weak wimpy pants.
Yeah.
I read a funny article it's from Testosterone Nation. They're like a no nonsense, kind of sarcastic, like legitimate scientific based site. And
Yeah,
it was
I love that site.
talking. I love that site. It's one of my favorites. Testosterone Nation. If you want no BS articles, and it was talking about how people who struggle with losing weight are just weak. That's what it comes down to. They're weak. They don't have the ability to stay consistent. They're not strong enough to follow through with their goal. They quit easily, and that's just the truth. Like there will never be a magic pill to lose weight ever, unless of course you want to spend 20 G's on like a plastic surgery. You lazy person. 20 G's. How many hours of work at your work office would you have to do to lose that? You could spend that in the gym and lose more and have a rock solid body afterwards. Like, don't be a lazy. They call them like lazy sissy pants or something. Oh,
yeah, because they can't use any other word, or else they'll get canceled. Is that the word?
Right. They'll get censored.
They'll get canceled. I was gonna say, whenever you have these perceived problems, just like say it in a baby voice, and you'll make yourself like, if I have a client come up to me and they're like, well, it's just that it was late and I had a long day at work, so I just had a little bit of ice cream. I just say it in a baby voice, and you'll realize how ridiculous you sound. Oh, how come you didn't come to the gym yesterday? Well, it was just that I had my legs were a little sore, and I just couldn't come and do chest day. This is funny, man. Just do it like that, and you guys will understand how bad your excuses are, and how they're like not only limiting you in the gym, but those are the same excuses you're using everywhere else. Like your mind's gonna justify why you should do certain things so you're not uncomfortable, right? Oh, I just couldn't get out of my bed because I only got 5 hours of sleep, and I read one article that told me I need 8 to 10 hours of sleep, or else I'm not gonna be effective in my life. Like you know what I'm saying? So I had to get another 2-3 hours. Just say it like a baby, and you sound silly, man. So like, it comes down to discipline. If you wanna lose weight, right, you're gonna have to put the fork down. For most of you, you're gonna have to put the fork down. That's what it comes down to. I can give you every single strategy, right? I got plenty of strategies, which is why I'm a good coach, right? We give you strategies to help you, get past these. Most of them are just mental barriers that you have. They're mental barriers, right? No one's forcing you to get up at midnight, walk your ass to the fridge, put the ice cream in the bowl, and put M&Ms and Skittles on that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's forcing you to do that. Right? But those are decisions that you got to say to yourself, all right, I'm the one who's making those decisions, right? What can I do? Which comes back to self-awareness. What can I do to make sure that I'm not making these decisions, right? And then we give you strategies on how you can, make less bad decisions. And the less bad decisions you make, right, the more you get out of your comfort zone when maybe you feel a little bit pressured, right? Oh, I'm just craving those snacks. Oh, I'm just so tired today. I don't feel like waking up early. I don't feel like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? The more times you do that, you're pretty much proving to yourself that you can keep the promises that you're making to yourself. It gives you more confidence Because whenever you
Right.
accomplish a goal, big or small, like for those of you that who are going to the gym, when you finish your workout, goal accomplished. You set a goal to go to the gym, workout, goal accomplished. You feel great afterwards, right? When you lose a couple more pounds, right, or a pound, goal accomplished. You had a goal of losing a pound, you feel good about it, right? And
Right.
it's a little promises that you keep to yourself that's going to give you momentum, so you can continue to accomplish and knock down more goals.
And about that subject right there, I was listening to a podcast the other day, a guy named Russell Brunson, big internet marketer guy. He's got a big company called ClickFunnels, and just uber successful, uber nice. And he was telling a story about how when he was young, he was like, someone asked him a question like, what's the biggest lesson you could learn from somebody who's trying to be successful in anything they're trying to do? And he's like, that's a hard one. He's like, but when I was 8 years old, my dad told me to go wash his car. So he goes out, washes his dad's car, and he's like, he's doing it quick because he wanted to go like play video games or something like that. So he's done washing the car. He comes in, and his dad's like, so let me ask you a question. Are you proud of that work? And Russell Brunson's like, well, I don't know. He's like, well, if you don't know, then it's not worth it. He's like, I want you to go out there until you're proud of that work. So he goes back out, and he's like putting some extra shine on the car. He's like really thinking about how could I really be proud of what I'm doing. And he does like another 30 or 40 minutes on the car. He comes back in, and his dad asks, are you proud of that work? And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm really proud of that work. And he said that was a big lesson learned. It's like when you come into the gym, are you going to put in effort that you're going to be proud of? When you go home and you eat, a good healthy dinner, are you proud of that? Or are you going to go eat the Skittles? So you're going to be proud of that? Like, you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anybody else. Like, don't fool yourself and think that you're letting me down when you come in and half-ass it, because you're not. You're letting yourself down, because now you're subconsciously letting yourself get away with 50% work. Like, when you leave that gym, are you going to be proud of yourself? After a day of eating junk food, are you proud of yourself? Are your kids going to be proud of who they see? Right? Like that. He's like, he's like, my dad taught me a powerful lesson right there. He's like, I'll never forget it. And I'm like, that is what a lot of people struggle with. They're not proud of themselves. They're not hardworking. Their little weak, their weak little brain comes out and, oh, I really wanted to have a cupcake 17 times today. So, I just had a cupcake. It's like, be proud of what you do.
And I couldn't end on an odd number, so I had 18.
Exactly.
Hey, John, I gotta say, I agree with that. There's a lot of times, even now, where I feel like I owe it to somebody, or I owe it to my family, or to whoever, and then realize that I don't owe it to anybody. Like, people have their own lives. People are individuals, and the only person I owe this to is myself. And I think that mindset, and like what Josh was saying, like the mind is a deterrent. Like if you can't work on the way you think, it'll hold you back, and it's common, and it happens. But like, I think about it when I'm with you guys, or when I'm running or anything. It's like I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this because I want to look better for some other people. I'm doing this because I'm like, I got to remember that this is for me. It's not for anybody else. And I felt like I've owed somebody, but the reality is I don't owe anybody anything. I just owe myself to be successful.
100%. And that's exactly right. You nailed it on the head. You got to be proud of who you are, and whatever goal you have, whether you're trying to get stronger, whether you're battling, depression or unhappiness, whether you're going through some tough times in your personal life and your job,
right?
You got to look at yourself and dig down and be like, all right, what am I going to do from here? Am I going to grovel and be sad and be unhappy, or am I going to move forward? And that who you choose to be is, man, that's going to have a big effect on your future, right?
Right.
It's who you're going to be.
Especially living in America, where you literally have unlimited opportunity, unlimited resources to be whatever type of man or woman you want to be. And to talk about, to piggyback off of what Edwin just talked about, when I experienced the most, how do I put this? The most anxiety in my life, when I was the most unhappy, it was when I would go to sleep at night and I would ask myself, am I being the best version of me that I could be? And if the answer is no, man, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of you a lot of you want to be great, right? It's not like you're going home and you're sitting there and you're happy with you're happy sitting on the couch and eating all those snacks. You're happy being, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight. You're happy. It's you're not happy with that. And that's actually a good sign, because deep down that you want more for yourself. And the fact that you're not doing the things that are going to bring you closer to that goal, that's what's pissing you off. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when you start taking more charge in your life, and taking charge, it's not as drastic as the way I'm making it sound. It's just like doing little things every single day. So when you lay down in your bed at night and you go, all right, did I get a little bit better today? Right? Am I being the best version of yourself? It doesn't mean you're killing it 24 hours in a day. Like, it doesn't mean you're just slaving and sweating and literally bleeding for your goals every single day. It's a lot of the times it's just, not opening that fridge and eating that cupcake. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times it's just waking up a little bit earlier and doing something productive with your morning. A lot of the times it's just going to the gym when you didn't feel like it or not, or setting a good example for your kid, where it's so easy to set a bad example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of the little things. And when you do those little things over and over and over again, you can lay down and be like, all right, I got a little bit better today. And it's going to give you confidence and momentum going into the next day.
Right. And it's like, get 1% better.
Mm,
That's it. 1% better today. 1% your day. If you work on yourself, that's great. If you get in the gym, what is that, like 4 or 5% your day? I forget what it
right.
comes out to.
Like
You get in
nothing.
the gym for 30, 40 minutes a day. Wow. That's what it takes.
Right.
You're not getting in the gym 9 hours a day like you see on Biggest Loser. You're not like all these TV shows and all these Facebook and Instagram profiles are selling you the wrong goals. Like, you're not hitting these workouts 5 hours a day and then eating healthy macro meals. No, just get to the gym, crack your food. That's it. Get to the gym, work on your goals.
Mm,
If you have anything else, maybe read a book. Like, read 20 minutes a day. Like,
right.
anything that'll help you get to your goal. And it's not about reading for 17 hours a day and then, studying for another 3 hours a day and then going to the gym for 3 hours a day and then
Right,
like
right, right.
slaving over a macro friendly meal for 9 more hours a day.
Exactly.
No, it's like, just focus on the small things that get you there.
100%. And we were talking about how powerful the mind is. Like, how many times in a workout did you feel like you didn't have any more left in the tank? And John comes in, or I come in, and we just start screaming at you or something like that. We start hyping you up, and then you end up going way faster, squeezing out more reps, lifting more weight on your set, or maybe you've gone to the gym and you were just a little bit pissed off about something that happened in your day or something that was going on, right? And you came into the gym way stronger, versus the days where you come in a little bit sluggish and you might have that little voice in your head saying, you know what, today's just one of those days. I'm just going to coast and I'm going to take it easy today, right? How much weaker you are, how much slower you run. Like, the mind is a powerful thing. Like, when I'm lifting heavy weights, I've been strength training the last, 3-4 months, trying to get as strong as possible, baby. But when I'm going to hit my heaviest set, like, my whole entire aura changes. Like, anyone that sees me in the gym, I get real quiet. I look real pissed off. I got like veins popping out of my head. And it's because I'm thinking of things that are going to help me lift this weight, right? Things that are going to get me fired up. Cause I know that, my mind is way stronger than my body is. And I have to literally like psych myself out and say, listen, you could do this right here. Like, you're strong enough to do this, right? How strong you want to be, right? Do you want to continue to get stronger, or are you good with where you're at? And that
Right.
gets me fired up, right? And that gets me focused, versus if I have one little thought in my head and I go, my ankles, my hips kind of bothering me today. Oh, that warm-up set felt kind of heavy. When I say those kind of things to myself, I don't hit PRs, right? I don't lift more weight.
Right. That mental game is so real. I
Mm,
truly believe in what you think and what you say becomes you.
right.
Like, there's something magical out there. Like, in every religion, whether it's the Bible, whether you're watching Hinduism, or whether you're reading, the Mahabharata, the Brahmas, whatever,
Mm,
every religion says, ask and you shall receive. It's the same concept. You
right.
think and you'll receive. You
Mm,
think you're weak, you'll be weak. If you think you're tired, you'll be tired. if you think you're energetic, you'll start thinking. If you think energetic things, you'll start to have energy. If you write down powerful things, like you write down your goals, I'm going to do this month. I'm going to read this month. I'm going to do this in my workouts. I'm going to run this. Even more powerful. Like write and think things that you want to be, and things will start coming in your mind, whether God tells you or whatever you think happens. It'll be brought to you. People will come into your life who will support those things, and your mind is such a powerful tool. I mean, I can go into the crazy science of quantum physics.
Right.
I won't go into it. But
John and I have these conversations. We'll talk for like hours on this kind of stuff. Yeah. And maybe we'll have a podcast just on the weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
Josh, I did want to add one more quick thing too.
Go for it.
To John's point about the successful guy who learned that lesson when he was 8 years old. I think a lot of times people think they're like, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. Like, well, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting old. I got a family. I got kids. I got whatever. It's like, there's no reason that we can't start a new life in the morning when we wake up. And I've realized that. Like, I've had that feeling where I'm like, man, where am I going? What am I doing? Am I getting complacent again? And to realize that I can start a new life. I can start making better decisions. I can start changing who I am, and I can do that now. I mean, I'm 39, I'm gonna be 40, and there's a point I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be 40, and like, what am I doing? So for anybody that's like, for what we're talking about, and anybody that joins the gym and they're like, oh man, like, I just want to kind of like, get a little bit healthier. And it's like, I mean, like, that's a decision you made, and that's a helpful one, but you got to realize that, maybe you're not like, keeping up with those 20-year-old guys or anything, or girls. But you've made the decision, and you can change your life at any point in your life. I didn't have the greatest childhood, and it took me a long time to realize that I needed to change. And so for those who are struggling through the boot camp, through nutrition and weight loss, it's like, it takes a lot of work. You can't, and you can't think that it's just going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months. So success is hard work, and if you want to do it, you got to put the hard work into it.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, I love what you just said, Edwin. That's like John said, if Edwin lost over 100 pounds, so you would be like, he's given you all the game. He's been there. He's been literally at his lowest point, and now he's killing it. He's killing it in life right now. So Edwin, props to you, sir. I was going to go, what I was going to say is, you talked about, what you're saying out loud, what you're saying to yourself, what you're putting out there is going to come back. One thing I've been doing for a while now, and I get people give me a little shit for it, is I listen to some weird music. Like, I listen to some weird, like, instrumental type, like, no lyrics is what I'm trying to say. Like, whether it's a techno beat with no lyrics, whether it's like a classical music, I like listening to movie soundtracks. I like listening to a wide array of just instrumentals, and I'll work out to it. And sometimes when I read, I'll do the same thing. I'll just listen to instrumentals. And what this helps me do is, to bring it back a little bit, any music you listen to is pretty much pumping in different thoughts and frequencies into your subconscious, whether you believe it or not. You ever just sit there randomly and you have like a song lyric and you just start saying it over and over again? Yeah. You're a robot. Like, you just start singing whatever song lyric. You'll spit it out randomly. You'll say it to your friends. Your friends will say it back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, music is so powerful in that fact, is that it goes deep into your soul, whatever you're listening to. So imagine if you're listening to, my favorite rapper of all time is Lil Wayne, right? He's my favorite rapper of all time. And Lil Wayne's message is not necessarily the most positive and most impactful. A kid that was raised in Point Loma, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
All he does is talk about drugs, fucking women, and making money, right?
Yeah. MOB, baby.
I agree with 2 out of the 3. Nah, I'm playing. Okay, so anyways, so that kind of stuff is just in my brain all the time. Like, you listen to music, most of you, more than you listen to other people, right? You listen to music more than you talk to your friends sometimes. You listen to music more than you talk to like your family, like real people. Like a lot of us get lost in music. You'll go to your room and you'll just put the headphones in. You study when you listen to music. You listen to music while you study. You listen to music while you work out. You listen to music all the time, right? Just, I don't know, in your car when you're driving, right? So don't you think it's kind of powerful, like what exactly you're listening to? I don't think it plays a role. So what I started doing, I'm getting a little bit off topic. What I started doing is I would listen to pretty much these instrumentals, and instead of having someone tell me what I should be thinking with the lyrics, I'm just filling it up with my own thoughts. I've had some of my greatest ideas just by listening to instrumentals, and I'm kind of like crazy when I'm listening to them. I'll start talking to myself. Like I'll start like saying things out loud as I'm working out, like any thought I have. I'll write things down in my phone, in my notes, any thought that I have. And I think it's been really powerful for me just to, listen to the instrumentals and then fill it up with my own positive thoughts. It can be about any topic. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, John.
Josh, I'll add to that, Josh, too. Recently with our runs on the when we do the Sunday Run Club, I listen to the motivational speeches on the running, and one of the ones I hear, they have like very like strong instrumental music in the background, and you hear the speeches. And one of the ones I was hearing, it just says I am, and then he says fill in the blank, and then he's like, tell me what it is, what are you? And recently in my last run, I was getting tired towards the end, and I was hearing that, and I was like, underneath my voice, I was like, I am strong, I am fast. And then I was as the music was pumping out, I was like, I was being a little bit self-conscious because like I'm running and there's people around me and I'm like gonna be talking to myself. And towards the end, I felt super empowered. Like I straight up said, like, I am strong, I am fast. And I felt my legs like just push it to the last, right to the lifeguard house. And it definitely helped motivate me because I could tell myself I'm not tired. I can keep going. I am stronger than this. I'm faster than this. I can do this. And that really motivated me to push myself harder. And I say it to myself even when we're in boot camp and I'm like struggling and John's like, come on. And I'm like, Edwin, you could do this. Push yourself. Like I'm telling myself I have to do this.
Right.
So I definitely go with the music. It inspires me. It pushes me. It reminds me that I'm a strong person and that this is for me and I have to succeed.
It's funny. I totally, the first time I got into like electronic music was when it kind of hit for me. Like before I would listen to like a lot of hard rock, like Metallica and all that stuff, like hip hop. Like I'd be listening to Lil Wayne all the time. He'd be saying money over bitches, like all these things. I'd be like singing it in my car. Yeah, M.O.B. baby.
Yeah.
F bitches. Like, all these things. And it's like, what message am I saying? Like, why am I saying these things? Words are so powerful. So a friend of mine introduced me to electronic music back in like 2005 or something like that. Now, that's kind of weird. Like, I don't know if I like it. And I started listening to it more, and it was just like the beat, and the beat like gets to you. Like it gets in your head. Like you visualize stuff differently than hearing somebody speak. Like if I hear Lil Wayne singing the lyrics, I can see Lil Wayne singing. I don't care about Lil Wayne. I don't care about his life. I care about my life. I want to visualize what I'm thinking. So over the past 15 years, like that's just been my thing. Like I don't listen to lyrical music anymore. Like I listen to only instrumental because when I'm running to instruments or when I'm lifting weights to instrumental music, you're right. Like things come to you differently because it's your own thoughts.
Right.
You're not singing somebody's lyrics that some producer told to sing so that they can indoctrinate the American people. Like those lyrics are there to keep you down. Drink, party, let's get wasted. Like no. How about let's get powerful.
Yeah,
let's grow.
Right, and honestly, a lot of this new age hip hop music is like about having mental health issues and having anxiety and being depressed too. Like a lot of these rappers are literally saying, I'm depressed, I pop pills every single night to make me happy, I've got mental health issues, I want to put a bullet in my mouth and pull it. I want to put a gun in my mouth and pull the trigger. And they put it on a nice beat and maybe a little bit of singing over it, a nice flow. And now you're singing it. I want to
Right.
pop pills and blow my brains. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're rapping that now. And what do you think that does to you if you already have maybe pre-existing mental health issues? You already are like kind of living an average lifestyle that further facilitates that. Like, man, music is so powerful, and you don't even think
Music
about
is a
that.
drug.
Yeah,
Music is a drug, man.
exactly.
And
So
if you're
it's
not listening to powerful stuff, then you're a notch lower than you were yesterday.
straight up. And I think the people who level up, when you start to level up and work on yourself, you start like, you want to give yourself as much of an edge as possible. Every
Right.
single thing you're trying to give yourself an edge. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy. I still listen to Lil Wayne.
Of
Right?
course.
Like, I still listen to the music that I like.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel good. I'm not saying that you need to just, all right, only listen to classical,
Right.
Mozart's piano music.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I still like my music, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful that that's not all that you're listening to.
Right. Because if I'm going to program my brain, I'm going to want to program with stuff that's 90% good and then 10% whatever else. It's like my diet. If I'm going to want to get fitter, stronger, leaner, I'm going to eat 90% good and then 10% Skittles, ice cream, and cupcakes. You know, it's like if you're hanging around 90% losers, then you're going to be a 100% loser. You know, if you're reading books that are going to help you grow, if you're listening to podcasts 80-90% of the time, then you're going to do great in life. And you got to indoctrinate yourself, because if you're just listening to the news and if you're just reading junk and if you're just watching junk, then that's what you're going to end up being, because
Right.
that's low level thinking.
Exactly. And then those of you who are, you may be surrounded, maybe you're living at home with your family that may not be very supportive of what you're doing, or, you know, you have roommates or whatever. You've got friends that you hang out with that you think that, I don't know, you never want to have the mindset that you never want to have the mindset that like, all right, my friends are holding me back. And you're kind of like looking around like, which one of my friends is the ones that's holding me back? I got to cut them off. Which one of my family members is holding me? Is it you? Like, you don't want to have that mindset. You just want to work on yourself. And if you feel like you're in a situation where, like, you know, you're like, man, it's just so hard for me to do the things I want to do because I'm just not getting the support that I want. Listen, you could always be the first person to be the one to like take that next step into self-improvement. Think about this analogy. It's like you're a light, right? If you're in a dark room, when you're in a dark room and you turn on the light real fast, what happens to everyone in the room? They squint. They're like uncomfortable by it. They're like, like who turned that light on? Do you know what I'm saying? Think about yourself as the light, right? You turn on the light, you're the light switch, or excuse me, you're the light. You just blinded everyone in the room. At first, they're uncomfortable by it, right? Because you just switched up the whole entire scenery. They're like, you never lit up before like that. Turn off the light. Go back to what you were before. Go back into your hole, little boy. You know what I'm saying? But the longer that light stays on, if you can stay consistent and keep that light on, their eyes are going to adjust. Now they want to keep the lights on. That's you, right? When you start changing, you're the light in a dark room, right? And then now keep the light on. People are going to adapt to the new version of you, right? And then you may even make them a light because they're like, damn, I actually like this light now. I can see things clearer now, right? So that's just a little analogy for those of you who may be in a situation where it's not very supportive.
And Josh, just to add to that, yeah, I mean, I've noticed that with my friends, and I think one of the things you also get out of that is that those who reject the change, the new you, are the ones that you realize that the ones that you don't need in your life.
100%.
Right? Like you start figuring out the negativity of people who kind of like hate on the fact that you're changing for better, and it's like they don't like the change. And either they like it, or they accept the change and see the progress, or they don't like it, and you start figuring out like who you should really be hanging out with.
Right.
And that's one thing. It's two things, right? They'll change and they'll see it and they like it, and they'll start saying like, "Ooh, I want to do that too," or they start being very negative, and you're like, "I don't need you in my life." And you make that call, you make that decision. You're like, "I don't need that negativity around me because it's just gonna hold me down."
Right.
I'll be back. Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, just a quick story on what you were saying, Josh, is You know, if people are uncomfortable with your light, then they're going to leave you. They're going to leave that light, and that's okay. Those are the people that need to stay in darkness.
Right.
You know, I was hanging around a group of friends of mine, and we were all drinking and partying. This is like in my 20s, and I told them, I'm like, hey guys, I'm not drinking for a month. I'm probably not going to hang out with you guys for the next month because you guys just do so much partying. Like I can't hang out with you guys. And it was 10 other guys in the group. Every single one of them quit drinking with me for 2 months. That's powerful.
Right.
Like I came in there, I wanted to be the light. I didn't realize that was the analogy. That's a great analogy. And I'm just like, I want to get a little healthier. I want to see what I can do in this next month. And every single one of them agreed. We all got shredded in 2 months. It felt amazing. And I have this picture of all of us, and we all have 6-packs. It was just like, it was such a powerful picture. And I was like, that's cool. Like, that's the group of people who you want to be around, people who want to change with you and who are willing to grow with you. Not one of them left. And I was like, that's the people who are going to be, that's your group right there.
Right.
And whether it's in Fitness Forward or whether it's in your family, be that light, because people need to be around that light.
Right. Right. And you just don't want to go around with it. Like I said earlier, you don't want to go around with the mindset that you're just going to start cutting everyone off in your life, because that could be a very, very lonely road. If you're just like, all right, I don't need anyone. Like, you know, I have friends that I've known since they've known me since before I hit puberty. Like, you know what I'm saying? They've seen me grow. They've seen me hit plateaus. They've seen me struggle. And, you know, they see me win and lose in my life. Right. And those same friends, I've seen them in the same way. Right. So having that strong circle that, even though at certain points, you know, we're all on our own journeys, you know, you may be here and they're down there. It depends on what perspective you're looking at it at. And then you're kind of going like this, and you're feeding off of each other's success. A real strong circle will be feeding off each other's success. You know, I'm helping my friends stay accountable. They're helping me stay accountable. You know, if I'm slipping up, they tell me when I'm slipping up, and maybe those conversations aren't easy conversations, right? But people who truly care about you will have those kind of conversations with you. And keeping a strong circle is what it's all about, because if you can continue to build on that circle and get more people who are like-minded thinkers like you and have the same kind of aspirations, like they want to be the greatest versions of themselves, you know, that's a dangerous group of people. So you want to continue to build on yourself so you can attract more like-minded individuals. And then those people who don't see the light, you know, they don't want to be a part of that lifestyle that you're living, then hey, it's all good, because you already have those other people who support you. Right.
And that's why I'm grateful for this group. Grateful for you, Josh. Happy birthday, brother. Grateful for you guys, Deanna, Edwin. You know, you guys are awesome. Great, good conversation today. We started off talking about our own nutrition, and then we ended up with some good mindset. So, you know, let's take what you learn out of it, do the boring work, you know, and keep your mind right. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, 100%. I like this kind of flow in the podcast, like, you know, just going back and forth. Edwin, I appreciate you pitching in too. And anytime, if you're on the podcast and you hear something that you like, that you may feel like you want to elaborate on or give your own story, your own experience of whatever topic we're talking about, feel free to add in. You know, John and I love that. We want this podcast to be interactive. So also in that Facebook group, if you ever have any questions, post in the Facebook group. If you have a topic you want us to go in on, post in the Facebook group, and we'll answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us this week. J Talk, Josh and Johnny Boy talking about all things fitness, mindset, motivation, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week.
All right, y'all. Peace.